What's up everyone, and welcome to my modded creature spotlight for the Dracoteuthis, added by Myrm's Custom Creations Dracoteuthis by Myrmicoleon today. Let's start by talking about where you can find the Dracoteuthis. The Dracoteuthis can be found on any map with an aberration-like area, so currently that includes the radiation zone on aberration and the sunken forest on extinction. So let's talk about how to actually tame a Dracoteuthis. So Dracoteuthis is a passive tame, and you'll need to be about a level 90 in order to actually passive feed it. And the thing to note is try not to get too close because they will aggro. So the only thing that you actually need to tame it is a charge lantern that's powered with a charge battery. So let's go ahead and get our charge lantern out, and we just need to place it. And maybe I can charge it before it aggroes. And then turn it on. And you'll see that once we turn it on, it immediately moves towards the charge lantern and starts consuming the charge. It does destroy the lantern as part of the process, and you can see once it completes feeding, we get a new reticule. So we need about 3 charge lanterns in order to fill this bar up. So let me go ahead and get the other charge lanterns out. So let's go ahead and get this powered up. And then, actually, let me grab the battery out this time, because I forgot to do that. And let's also go ahead and get this third one placed out, too. Yep, you can see it's now about 2/3 filled up, and then when we turn this one on, it will kind of lay down or rest. So once it gets in this position where again, lays down, we can go up to it and feed it a plant species sea fruit. So that'll feed it. That'll do it about 16%. I think I have 2x taming rates on right now. So we'll probably need about 6 or 7 plant species sea fruits. But you're only able to feed it the one time per rest cycle. So what we'll actually go ahead and do is I have a bunch of charge lanterns queued up already. Let's just go ahead and get 3 of those placed, because once it gets out of this, which I think takes about 60 seconds, we're actually able to feed it immediately. So let me do that, and then let's go ahead and power these. Turn that on. Charge battery. Grab the old one, turn it on. Charge battery, turn it on. And you can see it's already gotten out of its rest, and it is immediately consuming the charge lanterns. So as soon as it gets done consuming these 3, we'll be able to feed it again immediately. So let's see. And done. Okay. Alright, you can see it's laid back down again, or resting, I don't know. And we're able to immediately feed it. So we don't even have to fight the passive tame wait period between. Yeah, okay. And you do have to be careful about placing them. You just can't really place them to where the old ones were, just for a little bit, until the wreckage disappears. So let's get these 3 placed down again. And again, we'll put the charge batteries in to power them up. Alright. Let's see, number 2 done. And then number 3. Alright. That'll be the 3. And that should go ahead and consume these once it wakes up. I'll actually probably go ahead and cut here. So this process is very much rinse and repeat as far as the taming. So we'll cut back whenever we get ready for the last feed. Alright, and this should be the last round of charge passive feeding we need to give it. So it'll go ahead and consume the lanterns. It actually freaked me out because it was walking away, so I thought it wasn't going to go for the lanterns. But let's let it eat the last one, and alright, so go ahead and lay down, and here we go. Sweet, and that is all you have to do to tame your Dracoteuthis. Alright, let's talk attacks and abilities. So actually starting out, the one thing to note is that your Dracoteuthis does not need a saddle to ride. So I'm able to mount it immediately. However, if you notice in the inventory, we do still have some armor to help alleviate the lack of a saddle. It's only 10 points, but it's better than nothing. Now, as far as the UI goes, you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, we actually have all the attacks and the keybinds for them. And along the bottom, we've got kind of some useful cooldowns and information. And we'll talk more in depth about what those actually mean here in a second. But kind of more immediately, the one thing I do want to show as far as passive abilities is that under Charge Light, so I have a Lantern Pet, which is actually reflected in that middle button on the right above the hotbar, which does show what your light pet's current charge level is. But since we're in Charge Light, we actually get buffed up to 80 points of armor. In addition, we will deal more damage and have a little bit more health regen. And it's got this really cool look where it starts pulsing along the side and its tentacles are all kind of crazed up. Alright, so let's talk about our first attack. And I think our first attack is actually going to be helped out with this Aberrant Megalosaur. So if we do left click, we do a double swipe. So if I do that, and you can see it does very good damage. However, if I turn on the light pet, and if I can aim, you can see it's almost double. So 658 per hit, and it does hit twice. So this is very much an in-game Apex creature. The other thing that we're able to do is we are actually able to carry creatures with right click. So if I go up to these Ravagers, now this is not going to be anything too crazy, but you are going to be able to just kind of carry stuff around, and you can just right click again to release them. And I think maybe, let's see, if I right click and then oh, okay, you actually don't hit it with the attack. That's interesting. So I don't know if you can see, it's kind of raising it up out of the way of the swipe. But you also only do the one swipe instead of the double. Alright, now for this next one, I had to come down to the radiation zone to show its full effects. So you can see we've got kind of this horde of seekers right in front of us. I think they're hunting these charge bugs. But if we do our roar, which is Control C, we will, one, roar, obviously, and apparently attract some nameless, but we also temporarily tame the seekers, and we won't damage them, but they also won't damage us. Now, I don't know if they're supposed to attack. I have tested a couple things and I can't get them to attack or defend me or anything. However, they do just pacify. So, and then I can also top it back up. So you can actually see in the top right, we have a new status called Seeker Leader, and they'll just kind of follow us around, really. We can tame, if I'm stuck on a tree, or something. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on a rock. Okay, nice. Classic art. If I just top these back up. So, I mean, very good way to avoid any, yeah, you can see we're attracting more. So it's got a pretty decent range. And we've got a whole horde, although I do hate that they don't actually do anything other than just kind of group around us. But this is pretty imposing sight at minimum. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Oh wait, are they attacking? Oh, they are attacking! Okay. I couldn't get them to attack earlier. Alright, I don't know what's changed, but we'll take it. Okay, so they do actually attack for you. That's very good to know. You can see I've just got this whole fucking horde right now. Okay, let's see if we can attack this Carno up here. Or Megalosaur, I'm sorry. So if I do that, are they gonna go? Okay, it looks like they defend me, but they don't. They're not on attack my target. They're just on neutral for the Dracoteuthis. I mean, that's pretty fun. That's pretty cool. Although it is pretty limited to any maps to spawn seekers, which is just, I think Aberration at the moment, maybe Estrellas, but yeah, it's very cool. Very much showing that this Dracoteuthis is the Seeker Apex. Alright, so now that we're kind of up high and not having to constantly defend ours, what is going on with the rendering? Okay, we're just gonna focus this way, I think. Let's talk about charge. So charge is managed via that bar along right above the hotbar. So how to actually increase it, you can do it via a couple ways. So one way you can do it is by charged charge batteries. So if I pop one in its inventory, you can see this is gonna quickly go down and the bar is gonna go up as well. So let's see. I think it's going to take about two. Yep. So it looks like it's going to take two batteries in order to fill it up. And I don't know if you noticed, but once we hit 50%, our armor bumped back up to 80 points. Once we get above 50% of the charge bar, we actually have the same effect as if we're under charge light. So that's very good for damage and regen. Although the two effects don't stack, so you only get the effect of one or the other. And it actually looks like we didn't use the full battery, so that's good to know. Now, the one thing to also know is that this mod adds a new way to charge batteries because this also found an extinction and batteries are normally charged via charge nodes. There is a new item called a portable battery charger, which will basically just charge batteries for element. And it's very quick. So I definitely recommend doing this. I would even recommend doing this on extinction because you're not having to wait on nodes to recharge. The next method to gain charge is actually one of our keybinds. So you can see left control right click on the right. It will drain charge from our shoulder pit. Now this is not quite as efficient as the battery. So I'm going to start using it a couple times. You can see we're slowly draining our light pit and we've only got, I don't know, maybe an eighth of the bar filled. So it'll take a couple refills of the light pit in order to actually get our charge bar filled up. But I mean, this is a very quick and dirty way if you don't happen to have batteries. And the last method is probably the quickest, however, it's the more locational dependent method is by just activating drain. So if we press C, you can see that our little hotbar item has highlighted to show that we are in drain mode. And if I go into K mode real quick, you can see our tentacles are uh, aroused, for lack of a better term. So I'll press C again, so we're no longer in drain. And now if I press C, they're kind of out looking for charge light to drink up. So on aberration, there's actually two sources. So the first source, if we press C, is just from charge nodes themselves. So you can see we've got this nice little stream. Can I go into K mode to show it off? Yeah, so you can see we got a stream from the charge node to the Dracoteuthis. If I go back, you can see we are filling up our charge bar. In order to fill it up, we actually do end up draining the charge node entirely of its charge. So you can see we're all filled up and we're done, and now our charge node has completely shut down. So if I go look, yeah, station offline. So that's definitely, if you have a charge node, that would be a great way to do it. However, it is a little intensive given we do offline the node to fill up the charge bar. And then the next method on aberration makes use of all those spare charge pets you have. So I've got about 10 bolt dogs with about 1,000 charge apiece. So if I go back on our Dracoteuthis and press charge, you can see we slowly tick down all of their charges and we're able to drain from the full group. And that's going to fill up our charge bar. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of hard to see because they're all grouped up, the little light streams. And we should be filled up. Yep, there we go. And you can see we do still drain. Yeah, there we go. We still drain them. And they do get a little debuff that I believe limits their... Okay, I thought it'd say, but this does limit their charging. So if we do drain them entirely, they actually have a little bit of cooldown before they can start gaining charge again. Let's see, show buffs. Okay, so it's got about, looked like it was about maybe 20-30 seconds. And if we wait for this to tick down entirely, I believe they... Oh, okay. And if I turn the Dracoteuthis off, because it is still in drain mode. Alright, so let's turn it off. Alright, so yeah, you can see it quickly ticked off, and now we're able to gain charge again. So if we go back on our Dracoteuthis, you can see we're all filled up. And then on extinction, you're actually also able to gain charge from city terminals. Although these won't shut down like charge nodes, so these actually are a little bit better. So with that, what can we actually do with charge? So there's two main uses. Well, I say main, there's really only two uses for the charge. So to begin with, we actually are able to put these big wings to use and fly. So flying is very stamina intensive and drains our charge as we do it. So if I look at this, you can see we've already lost about 100 stamina. And we're able to do it, and it's also not very fast. So that's one thing to note, is that even though this is an aberration flyer, it's not great. You're not getting anywhere quick. And you can see we are pretty quickly draining our charge. Once we drain charge entirely, we actually are not able to fly anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and fly off into the blue zone and see if we can find some stuff to fight to show off our last ability. Alright, so we've got kind of a horde of stuff around here, which is pretty good for what I want to show off next. So if we control and left click, it launches a charge projectile. Oh, we've got nameless. Cool. We'll use it too. Alright. So, this actually has a similar effect to the plant Z fruit, where it actually stuns. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it. Oh yeah, okay, this Megalosaur is actually stunned. So you can see it's stunned, and it does actually generate a little bit of charge light, so if I do it again, I don't know, yeah, it's not going to do it here. So what if I do this? Okay, there we go. I don't know if you can see, it is charging up a little bit, even though we're not in drain mode. So, and it does a lot more damage than our left click. So if I do this again, I mean, that was like 3,000 damage on the Arthropleura. In addition to the fact that flashbangs and stuns enemies. So this is very powerful. Yeah, so about 1600 I think is what it normally does. So I mean, this is very powerful. It does drain a lot of stamina, or not stamina, a lot of charge though. It's got a pretty good AoE. It's crazy. I think it does also apply charge. Let's see, can I find... Let's see, there's just some random stuff. So I mean, yeah, this is a very fun ability. Although you can see we've already below. Oh, okay. There's a nameless. Can I? It's so good. I don't know what I just did 10,000 damage to, but that's nuts. Yeah, so this is kind of it for the attacks and abilities. It's not got a lot. A lot of it mainly revolves around getting charged, so it can get the charge buffs. Still very powerful, and I think very fitting for a charge light apex. So we'll move on to the last item, which is of course color regions. So I'm going to be doing this on the island, so hopefully the colors come out the best, as opposed to aberration or extinction, where aberration they'll be a little dark and extinction has that weird yellow filter. So starting out, we've got our Dracoteuthis with all color regions set to white. So just kind of briefly going around, you can see we're actually still pretty gray along the main body. Wings are fine, it's a little bit of gray tinting. So I mean, yeah, I think this is pretty good overall. I do hate that this is still going to be affecting the color along the back and the arms. Alright, and we'll start by setting color region 0 to red. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I wonder where the color region is. So, I mean, jokes aside, I mean, this is going to be your main color you base things off of. This is a good 90% of the creature here. Yeah. Even some of the tinting here is affected. Much lighter, but this is still, I mean, this is going to be the main color you base the mutations off of. For color region 1, we're actually going to have to do something a little different. So I've got a bulb dog here to help activate the charge for the Dracoteuthis, and I've also set it to night. So if you can see, color region 1 is set to red. It's actually these bioluminescent spots along the side. And you only see these when the Dracoteuthis is charged or in charged light. So it's not, so basically it has to have that charge effect. And you can see they do this, and let me actually turn it on because I believe they pulse. Let's see. Let me turn slow-mo up. Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can see they actually pulse, which is very cool. And I'm so glad this is actually a mutatable spot. Although it is going to be something that's going to be a little bit harder to see in the day-to-day. Yeah, even here on the tail. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And I actually amend my statement. So you can't actually see it when it's not in charged light. It's definitely, I think it's definitely fainter, or maybe I just wasn't looking at it right. But you can see it's still this pulsating, very, very faintly red. Yeah, definitely here along the tail. I think it is fainter. I think it's definitely stronger in the charge light, maybe. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, all right. Color region 2 is next, and this one is another one that's gonna be kind of hard to see. So it's actually these like stripes and spots, for lack of a better term, here on the underside of the wings. You can kind of see they're a little more red tinted here on the ends. I haven't been able to see anything else that's maybe red. That may be the coloring. I thought maybe that stripe is, but I'm not sure. But yeah, mainly it's going to be kind of these undersides of the wings, the patterning. So definitely kind of a fainter color region. Color region 3 is next, and this is, again, we're on the underside of the wings. This is the inverse of color region 2. So you can actually see the tracks going through where the red is. So those tracks are going to be color region 2, and then the rest, which is red currently, is color region 3. So just quickly to show the other wing for solidarity's sake. There we go. So yeah, both those color regions make up this underside of the wing. Color region 4 is also some of the decals and some of the tips of things. So right here you can see this is the tentacles. So definitely these tentacle tips and kind of the and the undersides. You can see kind of some of the striping on the horns, as well as kind of the edging. I guess edging would be the better term. So yeah, right here, down here too, edging of the spikes as well. I think it's some, yeah, tips of the spikes here. Yeah, right here along the spikes on the legs, all 6 or 4 in this case that have them. Yeah, right here along the tail, just kind of going up the back, you can see they're there. And again, on the arms, they're the kind of the edges where the spikes are. So yeah, this is definitely kind of a more detail-oriented one. And then our last color region is color region 5. So if I can go under your tentacles, sir. This is the underbelly. So, and as well as some of the inner detail and patterning on the legs, rather. So yeah, underbelly. Let me get nice and close and personal with our Cthulhu stand-in, our Namiel at home. This one is kind of the basically the rest of the colors, for lack of a better term. Yeah, so you can see it's even some of these spots here where it meets the underbelly. Yeah, right there on the underarms. So yeah, overall, I think this is very cool. A lot of cool regions to color with, especially the bioluminescent. That one actually took me a while to find. So I think we can definitely do some cool stuff with the Dracoteuthis mutations. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.